Ravens win 25-9. It was a game that everyone expected them to win.
Yep.
But it wasn't pretty to start off.
It didn't. To me, it didn't feel like it was a strong win or a convincing win, even though Ravens won by 16 points. And I had said this all throughout the game yesterday. It was just like it didn't feel like a dominating game, and I don't think it was. I think it was just that one team made more mistakes than the other, and the team that made the least amount of mistakes won the game. So you had a rookie quarterback on the other side of the ball, which we'll get into in just a moment. I thought C.J. Stroud was actually pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was that's what it felt like. You didn't have any really big plays. You just kind of marched down the field, grinding it out. But you shouldn't have to grind out a win against a team like the Texans right now.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it was getting off to a slow start, and that's the part of it when we talk about with Lamar. New offensive coordinator, new system, new scheme. Guys are trying to get their feet wet. But let's start with this. I don't think the Texans get enough credit as far as their defensive pieces. So we know that Lamar is going to be rusty and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And we talked about this before, and I'm going to pull this up because I think it's, again, fascinating. And do you guys know how many touchdowns the Texans gave up to wide receivers last year? Do you remember the number I just told you?
I do not remember that.
Well, I'll tell you. The Texans defense gave up 6 touchdowns last year. And for people that love fantasy, that was also the 4th fewest fantasy points that they allowed to the wide receiver position all season. And I know it's fantasy points, but it's also meaning that it is relevant to everyday football, right? So Houston's defense had some pieces in place, and they played better than expected. Lamar obviously was certain places where he wanted to go with the ball, was a little bit off. But I'll tell you what, on offense, if there's one thing we're going to take away, Zay Flowers is going to be a focal point of that offense.
Yeah.
Lamar had 17 completions. Zay caught 9 of them. A lot of, bubble screens by the line of scrimmage, but clearly Zay's playmaking ability was put on display from the get-go.
Yeah. What was his final stats?
His final stats, he had 9 catches for 78 yards, and I believe they attributed a couple plays as runs. It's moving slowly. Yes, 2 carries for 9 yards. So he had 11 touches for almost 90 yards in his debut. And I think it was the most catches for a Ravens wide receiver in their debut as a rookie.
It was. Yes, that's correct.
So a lot of things there that at least are to be positive with.